I want you to look at me. You see the suit, the watch, the luxury. But you don't see the scars. You don't see the nights I went to bed hungry because I couldn't afford a meal. Just a few years ago, I was nobody. I lived in a cramped room with broken windows, cold air biting at my skin every night. I remember looking at my empty bank account, feeling the weight of the world crushing my chest. I was a failure in the eyes of society. I had no connections, no rich parents, and no luck. I was the kid who was told he'd never amount to anything. My reality was dark, lonely, and filled with the bitter taste of poverty. I was at rock bottom, and the shovel was still in my hand. The struggle wasn't just about money. It was about dignity. Like Ronaldo, who started with nothing but a dream and a ball, I had nothing but a vision and a burning rage against my circumstances. I worked 3 jobs that I hated. I walked miles in the rain because I didn't have bus fare. I watched my friends go out and party while I sat in a dark room, teaching myself how the digital world works. People laughed at me. They called me crazy. They told me to get a real job and stop dreaming. There were nights I cried in silence, wondering if the sun would ever rise on my life. But every tear I shed became fuel for my fire. I realized that if I didn't save myself, nobody would. Then came the day I stopped being a victim. I realized that my poverty wasn't a death sentence. It was a test. I started studying the elite. I stopped trading my hours for pennies and started building assets. I spent 16 hours a day learning skills that the school system never taught me. I failed once, I failed twice, I failed 100 times, but I never quit. I embraced the pain. I fell in love with the grind. I started building my empire, brick by brick, while the world was sleeping. I stopped asking for permission and started taking what was mine. I broke the mental chains of the 99% and finally understood the 1% rule. And now, the world looks different. Those who laughed at me now ask me for advice. Those who ignored me now want a minute of my time. I don't check price tags anymore. I don't wake up to an alarm. I wake up to a legacy. I have the freedom to travel the world, to take care of my family, and to live life on my own terms. But the luxury isn't the prize. The person I became in the process is the real prize. I am a sovereign individual. I am the master of my fate. I went from being a ghost in the system to being the architect of a new reality. I am the 1%. My story is proof that your current situation is not your final destination. If a broke kid with no hope can become the man standing before you today, so can you. But you have to be willing to bleed for it. You have to be willing to lose your friends, your comfort, and your ego. 2026 is here. The matrix is real, but so is the exit. Join the Apeiron Alpha movement. Stop being a spectator in your own life. Start your transformation today. I'll see you at the top. Success didn't just happen. It was a violent breakthrough. Like a rocket trying to escape Earth's gravity, the hardest part was the start. I had to burn 90% of my fuel just to get off the ground. I remember the first $10,000 month. I didn't go out and buy a chain or a fancy watch. I put it all back into the machine. I doubled down. I wasn't just building a business. I was building a fortress. My after was no longer a dream. It was becoming a mathematical certainty. The noise of the critics started to fade, replaced by the sound of notifications. My phone, which used to only ring with debt collectors, was now ringing with opportunities. I was finally breathing the air of the 1%. Now look at the view from the top. It's not just about the silk sheets or the high-rise penthouse overlooking the city. It's about the silence of not having to worry about tomorrow. I don't check my bank balance anymore to see if I can afford dinner. I check it to see how many more lives I can change. I can fly to any corner of the globe at a moment's notice. I have replaced my time for money with systems for freedom. I am the man I used to be jealous of, but I earned every single brick of this empire. Every sleepless night, every insult, and every failure was a down payment on this life. I am no longer a victim of the economy. I am the architect of my own world. This journey from before to after is open to anyone, but it's only taken by the few. The 99% will watch this video and say he was lucky. The 1% will watch this and say, it's my turn. Which one are you? Your current struggle is just the opening chapter of your legend. Don't let the story end in poverty. Rewrite it in gold. Join the Apeiron Alpha movement. Subscribe to the mindset of the elite. We don't just survive, we dominate. My name is the proof that the matrix can be broken. The question isn't who is going to let me, it's who is going to stop me. I'll see you at the finish line.